I see lots of potential. And then I start to think, oh, this is a good way to generate money and also at the same time creating impact. Because as academician, we are more focusing into theory. We always have books to refer to, journals to refer to, and everything is theory. But as for industry, they are looking for profit.
Being a consultant yourself, what are the challenges that you face? Along the time being a consultant, what are the most obvious challenges that you face? That's interesting. Okay, when you're talking about developing new product, so when you develop a new product in the food tech itself, what are the elements that you actually look at? So it's a bit different, because I'm from engineering background, so I'm very, very mechanical, digitalizations and all these elements come into it when we develop new product. But what about food tech? I am looking forward to know what are the elements that you look at? Hi everyone, welcome to my episode 12 of the Innovators Minute. So in today's episode, we have someone from the food tech industry. So I never had anyone or barely engaged anyone from the food tech industry. So this is very exciting for me as well, because I always wanted to know how they actually innovate a product which has a very limited lifespan. So in today's episode, we're going to learn more on Dr. Aida's experience. She's being a lecturer herself, entrepreneur, and also a consultant in the innovation process in the food tech industry. So tune in to watch the video and get to know more on her experience and the challenges that she faced in order to commercialize her products in the food tech industry. Hi, very good morning, Dr. Aida. How are you?
Hi, morning, Visha. I'm fine, thank you. What about you?
I'm good. Today is Nature Day, right? So it's really nice to have holiday in the mid of weekdays. So let's introduce yourself first. Let's start with that.
All right. Thank you, Visha. So my name is Aida Firdaus Muhammad Nur Azmi. It's a long name, but I would prefer people to know me as Aida Azmi. Right, I'm a senior lecturer from the Faculty of Applied Sciences, University Technology Mara in Food Science and Technology. So, but at the same time, I'm also actively involved with the industry as a food consultant, and now into entrepreneurship because I started my startup in 2019. I think that will be my short introduction.
So, how did it grow your interest, right? You're being in an academic, being a lecturer yourself, and then how did it grow your interest being an entrepreneur?
Okay, actually the interest doesn't come just like that. I believe it comes from still when I'm still small. I do love to do business. I mean, since school time, I always think on how to make money for my association. So it grows from there, and then from the university time, I lead my association, and then we try to get more money for the association. And then when I become a business consultant to industry, I see lots of potential. And then I start to think, oh, this is a good way to generate money and also at the same time creating impact to the society.
Great to know that, because not every academician will actually venture into business. I mean, now I see there is a lot of people are venturing, but in a days where people, I always notice there's always been a gap between an academic and an industry. There's always a gap. So what is an opinion on this? Like, do you see there is a huge gap because you are being an academic person and also being an industrial person? I mean, you have attached, you are engaging very closely with industries people. So do you see there's an obvious gap over here?
Okay. If you're talking about gap, there are a few aspects that you have to look at. because as academician, we are more focusing into theory. We always have books to refer to, journals to refer to, and everything is theory. But as for industry, they are looking for profit. They don't want to just follow the books, but end of the day, it doesn't work well. So in the industry, they always grow and adapt very quickly. So, but sometimes they, because of the lack of theory, sometimes they may have problem in keeping up to the best solution. So that is where the gap is. And when we merge these two, industry and also the academy, the process and also the innovation can be faster, and we can get a better result for that.
Okay, so this is where your role comes in as a consultant in the food tech industry, right?
Indeed.
So, being a consultant yourself, what are the challenges that you face? I mean, along the time being a consultant, what are the most obvious challenges that you face?
Actually, to make the industry understand that what they did every day, maybe in daily operation, is actually not aligned to what it's supposed to be. Because I'm in food industry, so our concern is more onto food safety, and also the integrity things in terms of the labeling, in terms of the dosage use of certain ingredients. So that is our concern. Without a good and proper knowledge, the industry may apply the wrong dosage, applying the wrong something that against the legislation and any regulations. So that is where we have to make sure that they understand the needs of having a consultant.
Okay, but they adapt. Whether are they able to adapt to what you're saying when you're consulting? Are they able to adapt and implement it?
Yes, they are actually. It's not because they don't want to follow, but because sometimes they don't know.
Okay, they don't know.
Yeah. So when we tell them what is the best way to do things, and then they will follow through the process. And some company, maybe for some like SME, they don't really have a good staff, especially specializing in food science and technology, because they think that this is normal. They're doing business like from home basis, and then when they grow, they just continue what they did from home. But they don't understand the real situation. When you move into factory, for example, you have to comply with certain certification, so you need proper documentation, you need laboratory testing and so on. So we advise them on all those procedures.
Okay, so when did you started this consultancy business? Like how long ago?
I've started since 2012 when I joined UITM. It's actually from mouth to mouth. I just helped my friend's company because at first they just want to do a simple testing like nutritional value. So I started from there, and then I offer them, do you want to have a proper documentation? I can help you to come up with something like good manufacturing practices manual. So I start with that one company. After that, maybe they share their experience with me. There come another company, and then the third company, fourth company, and so on. So that's how how it's grow. Actually, my area not only on certification, but also on developing new food product.
Okay.
And also to improve the shelf life of the product and the quality of the product.
That's interesting. Okay, when you're talking about developing new product, so when you develop a new product in the food tech itself, what are the elements that you actually look at? So it's a bit different, because I'm from engineering background, so I'm very, very mechanical, digitalizations and all these elements come into it when we develop new product. But what about food tech? I'm looking forward to know what are the elements that you look at?
Okay,
Because one, right?
Yeah, exactly. So because food, we are dealing more to people, to consumer basis, right? So we really need to understand the market.
Okay.
What does the market want? If we create something that market don't really like to try, so it is no use. I mean, the company will lose. They won't make profit. So our first step is actually to do market survey or market feasibility to see this kind of product, our idea is good enough or not. So we will try to obtain report from, normally we use Mintel report to see what is the current trends on food globally.
Okay.
And then we will narrow down to Malaysian market. And it also depends on our customer, whether they want to do it locally or they want to expand globally. So we will interview them. We need to know their needs, and then only we can design the special product for them.
Okay,
So it started with the market feasibility.
so you start with market feasibility. So, but beforehand, you will actually have what kind of product and the recipes, all that will be coming together, right? So the recipe is
That will be on the second phase.
Oh, okay, okay.
Once we confirm what we want to do, we know what is best for the company, for example, and then they already agreed on the product. Then only we go to the second phase where we go into the R&D. So we will learn about the product, we will learn about what is the beneficial ingredients to add on, what are the maybe specific interaction between ingredients that may cause harm. So we have to check everything. We will check on the dosage, we will check on the regulation, whether it
So that's one. But on the other aspect, I wanted to ask on the IP, on your intellectual property, right? So on food tech, what are the segments that you will really look into and you emphasize to patent? Is that on the recipe part, or there is another elements that you actually can file patent also?
Okay. We do understand that intellectual properties have like 7 to 8 class, right? So basically on food, we fall into trade secret.
Oh.
We fall into trade secret. So we can file all the ingredients used, okay, so that no one can copy the recipe, or if they are interested with our recipe or formulation, they can buy from us. And we can also file under copyright. But copyright is more likely like a statement about our product. And then if your product is basically more onto ingredients lah. If you are creating something new, like food ingredients like natural colorant, for example, you can go into patent because it may involve certain specific process, maybe some engineering process over there, so you can patent process. So it depends on what kind of innovation. But if only formulation, normally will fall under trade secret.
Interesting. Trade secret. This one we don't have in our industry. Our industry is the industrial design, the intellectual or the utility patents, and on
normally patents, right?
Yeah, normally patents. Correct. So yeah, trade secret is something new. Interesting. But okay, on food tech itself, right? I always wanted to know on the food industry, how do you when you are advising your client, right? So the process, the entire process, does it take a very long process for them to implement that entire innovation? Because like we're saying, you start with market visibility and everything. So you start consulting from that base, right? So because you also have to teach them whether they are doing a proper market research, are they covering the elements and the proper aspects of market research, and for them to innovate, and then for them to try out new recipes or coming out with new products. The entire process, right? So which part of the process is the most challenging part?
Actually, normally I divide our consultation into 3 phases.
Okay.
So the first one is the market feasibility and also the trends, which include all the trends segment. And then the second part is actually idea generation part.
Okay.
So during this idea generation part, This is where we do the brainwriting techniques, and then we try to get feedback from the company, from people around us, and then only I move to the last part, which is the R&D. So actually R&D will take the longest time because it's not easy. Maybe from our literature, from our reading, it is as simple as ABC. But when you start doing it, you try to taste it, and then you know, oh, this is not matched, this is not right, so you have to change. I mean, the quantity, the percentage, and then try to comply again with the regulation. Because sometimes when we add something into our product, it seems like very nice, very okay, but when you check into regulation, oh, it is out of the limits. So you have to rework again. So yeah, it takes longer time for that process, for R&D.
Understand. In any typical process, then R&D, I understand totally.
And it actually depends on your facility as well, your facility, and then your research assistant. If they are really good, you can shorten the time. That's among the external factors that you have to consider.
Okay, what about among your experience in consulting, right? So, do you mind sharing with us one of the most interesting projects that you worked with, like very
Okay.
generally?
All right. I have been working with one company in Ulu Tiram, Pulim Berhad, under the Johor Corporation. So they are actually planting MD2 pineapple, the sweetest pineapple and very nice pineapple. So they have a problem with the shelf life of their fresh pineapple, fresh cut pineapple. Okay. So during 2 or 3 days, the pineapple will turn brown. Okay, so they came to us and said, Dr.Aida, can you help us to lengthen the shelf life? Because if you manage to lengthen the shelf life, we can sell our product across Johor, of course, and also go to different states, like they will send to KL and so on. So what we did, we do the R&D process, and alhamdulillah, we managed to increase the shelf life to 7 to 10 days.
Wow.
From 3 days to 7 to 10 days. And then from that result, they managed to improve their production from about 5 tons a month to now around 60 tons per month. So from small processing area into a larger processing area. And now the processing area already certified with halal, and then they're doing very well now.
Nice, that's so nice. Like, congratulations to you and your team.
Thank you so much.
Talking about on this aspect, right? So I also got to know that you're entrepreneur yourself, which you introduced yourself earlier, right? So you have your own product. So talk about a bit about your own product.
Okay, thank you, Visha. Yes, I have my own product, which is the functional coffee. Okay. We call it functional. It may be something new to Malaysian market. Functional food meaning that something that we take every day, common food like bread, noodle, coffee, but with the addition of special ingredients that may improve our health. It is not supplement and it is not medicine. But when you take the product over a long time, you will get better health. My coffee is a low caffeine coffee, but it is infused with vitamin B complex and also high in protein. We are using whey protein, so it is really good as energy booster. So normally when people take other energy boosting product in the market, the energy comes from caffeine. So they have very high content of caffeine. What will happen is that some people may experience palpitation, increase of heart rate, and then some may experience migraine and also gastric. But our product, we are generating the energy from within, from the cell, with the help of vitamin B complex. Wow. So that is why it is much healthier and it is much better from product in the market, energy boosting product in the market.
Great. Just to know. So, what's the product name again?
Okay, Una Coffee.
Una Coffee. Okay.
Uh,
You're gonna put
we have been in the market like for 2 years so far.
That's a very great achievement because always people have this perspective towards coffee that it's caffeinated, you can't drink much and all. But now that you produce a caffeine which is very healthy, that's like a breakthrough.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah, we got the idea, and it helps a lot of people because we receive very good feedback from our customer. And now, due to the vaccination process and so on, we receive a lot of feedback saying that they have less post-vaccination effect when they take our Una coffee because they feel more energetic, and then yeah.
That's the highlight. Okay, let's go to our rapid fire round. Where the first question: what do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered as an innovative edupreneur.
Nice. So the legacy that you want to leave behind?
Actually, it's not easy to come up with the business in this. In these such critical times. So, and competing with the 100 years old beverage coffee like Starbucks and so on, is very hard. But I think I have built a strong foundation, and I want to lead my business so that Una Coffee can be diversified, not only onto ready to mix product, but maybe later on into cafe and also stalls, which can actually help more people to generate money. Sure.
So, what is your greatest achievement? Sorry, your greatest achievement.
I would say in business, maybe I got the offer to join Leaders in Innovation Fellowship program in United Kingdom. That was actually a program sponsored by Newton Fund and organized by Royal Academy of Engineering in UK. So I think that was the best experience and best achievement for me because I learned a lot from the program, and also the whole process take me to be a more resilient entrepreneur. And other than that, I think maybe my ability to bring people together with me, because my business model is using agent system. So getting people together is not easy. So having people to come in and to believe with our product, I think that was a great achievement for me and my team.
Wow. That's like a lifetime achievement, if you ask me. So it's not easy. I understand your struggle because you have a lot of agents at the moment, right? You have about 100?
100 over, yeah.
Yeah, 100 plus agents, which is easy. Like what you said earlier, it's a very good point that you pointed out. Like, there's like a lot of other coffee, like Starbucks and Coffee Beans, and those are famous ones. And you're trying to compete, but that willpower, and there's something, a unique solution in your coffee, right? And then you standing out in the crowd, and then you have to convince a lot of people to come and sell, become an agent, and then be being very successful. It's a very long process, but you managed to pull it through, and now you're a successful entrepreneur. So it's and on top of that, you're still being a consultant, you're still lecturing, and you're actively involved in so many other activities. I've been seeing your profiles, and I am actually very impressed, Dr. Aida, with your achievements, your involvements in the entire research contribution, being a consultant yourself or developing new products. And I know the last time when I spoke to you, you actually said, oh, today I need to go meet someone in burger industry. So that's also interesting. It's like I never knew, because I have very limited engagement with food tech industry people. So when I started to get to know a friend of mine, and then he introduced me to you. So it's so interesting. I was like, oh my God, yeah, food industry. Because I feel personally the challenge for me here is the lifespan, like what you have mentioned earlier on that pineapple, right? Food have a lifespan. Similar goes to flowers. So I always wonder how these business people sustain, because there's always a limitation on the lifespan. You got to invest a lot. You got to make sure your market capacity is sufficient, and you got to plan so well, like how much you need to buy, all that. Otherwise,
Yes.
it'll be a wastage, because it's prone to go wastages. Unlike in our industry, whatever we build, it's a very it doesn't really counter on the
It doesn't
lifespan,
affect,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't affect. It's a physical product by that itself. But these all are very live products, right? They have like limitations to it. So that
Yeah.
I always wonder how you're sustained in the industry in terms of your research. But yeah, like whatever you've been talking, you will be mentioning of the lifespan. So it's so interesting. That is the real challenge in food tech, like how you are like surviving in a lifespan of your products. So it's very interesting, and it's a very great sharing. So do you have any last words to share to entrepreneurs out there, or the innovators in the food tech industry?
Okay, what I can say is that I just become entrepreneur for about 2 years. I know it's very new. I'm still a baby
Okay.
who tried to learn on how to walk or maybe to run. But I believe that the whole process it's actually very challenging. So what you need to be is to be resilient. Just to be resilient and keep to be optimistic. Always believe that there is solution for every problems, and be creative in order to solve the problem.
Nice. That's a great advice. It applies to me as well. Yeah, because being a researcher, right? So we know we have to be very creative. We have to have this on cannot give up attitude. I have to keep going.
Yeah.
There's so many trial and errors, like what you mentioned. R&D is the longest period, because there is lots of trial and errors we'll be encountering in that period.
Failure is also a progress. Failure is also a progress. Yeah. So just do it.
True. Thank you so much, Dr. Aida, for your sharing. You're a very sweet person, always smiling, and keep up with this.
Thank you,
It's
Lisha.
so nice to have you today. I hope the audience can benefit a lot from your sharing section today. And I'll definitely put in your details. So if anyone wants to consult you in regards to food tech industries, so they can definitely contact you directly. So thank you so much again, Dr. Aida.
Thank you to you too, Visha, for the opportunity. All the best for your innovation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Have a
Bye.
nice day.
You too.